I'm Kevin.
And Carolina, and we have a son, Levi Mateo.
And we're the Bothwells. I was born in 1987, Marietta, Georgia. My mom and dad got a divorce. My mom did remarry, and my stepdad, he was very strict, serious. At a young age, it instilled a lot of anxiety in me. About second or third grade, I met a kid in elementary school, and he was basically like a brother to me. His name was Peter. With the lack of accountability there, that's where both me and Peter started experimenting with alcohol. And I remember the first time we drank, all the anxiety that I had, just the uncomfortable feeling, all that went away. I immediately thought like, wow, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Shortly after that, we started experimenting with smoking weed. There was no real repercussions, no real consequences until in ninth grade, I got arrested for marijuana, got off probation, and immediately went right back into it. I got a job at a pharmacy when I was 10th grade, when I started experimenting with Xanax and pain medicine. Getting out of high school, got into Kennesaw State University, and within a year and a half, I was being kicked out because I just wasn't going. I wasn't putting any effort into it. The first health issue I had at that time was from not having Xanax. I had a seizure while I was driving. A buddy of mine was with me. He grabbed the wheel, put it back into the lane and into a neighborhood. Ambulance came. My dad had come back into my life at this time. We had plans to meet later that day at my grandfather's house. While I was on the way to my grandfather's house, my grandfather called me and said my dad was in an accident. Walking into the emergency room, doctor came in and told us that he had been in a motorcycle accident and died on impact. I mean, I remember feeling kind of like disbelief or in shock, like wow, this really happened. He's actually gone. That was my ticket to do whatever I wanted. I took that excuse and I ran with it. There was a point where my buddy who I grew up with, he was right there doing the same thing. We got pain pills from somebody else that we didn't really know. We both did them and both overdosed at the same time. Buddy that was with us ended up calling 911. I remember waking up to the ambulance there, paramedics over me jamming Narcan in my arm, and I remember getting out of the hospital, going back home, and the same drug that had done that to us, that we overdosed on, we did it differently, smaller amounts, and I mean, it was just, nothing was enough to scare me away. About a few weeks after we had overdosed together, I got a call from Peter's sister. She had told me that he had overdosed and died. It wasn't enough to say, hey, maybe now's the time to kind of stop what I'm doing. But it was enough for my family to try to step in and get involved. So I agreed to a 5-day detox and got out and agreed to a 30-day treatment. So I went to a sober living in Sandy Springs. It was not sober living. They were using, drinking, and then we all got caught, we all got kicked out. So I was staying at a friend's house, left the neighborhood, it was being watched, got pulled over. They arrested me for my pain pills, my Xanax. I had a pistol was in the trunk of my car. So now I'm sitting in Cobb County, about to start going into withdrawals on a $54,000 bond. It was crazy because these deaths around me, these overdoses, these seizures, that wasn't enough. But now I'm looking at going to jail, and I'm like, I guess that was God backing me into a corner. The corner that he knew I was not gonna be able to find a way out of. But about this time, I was in a restaurant bar area in the Merida Square, and I remember fixating on this one girl that I remember the first thing that I noticed was she had this long, black, straight hair, and something about her just was, I mean, it was beauty that just listening to her talk, I was very attracted to her. So
Yeah, it was a birthday party that we were celebrating for some friends. It was easy for me to understand him.
I mean, I was being myself, but you know, keeping all of my skeletons in the closet. They suggested I go to the Blake House. This was and I knew it. This was a 10-month program. So I call her and I say, well, I got in trouble and I have to go to a rehab place for 45 days. That would be enough to not run her away.
Yeah.
But maybe set the hook a little bit, and off I went. And it was about 2 months of being at the Blake House, I started to feel good, and it was something that I had not felt in 12, 13 years. And I think that was one of the things that kept me there, that made me want to stay there and think, okay, I'm gonna give this a chance. So I get out of the Blake House, arrive at my grandmother's house. The first day I leave, and I walk inside. I walk into the kitchen, and Carolina's there. So fast forward a little bit, I'm living in sober living. I got a job at a place called Specialty. People there were sober as well, going through the same thing. I worked in the paint department for about 2 years and became the manager of the paint department, ran that little area, and eventually was given the opportunity to move out of the warehouse into customer service at Specialty, and did that for the next 2 years. 2 years out of the Blake House now, spending basically all my free time with Carolina. And I had a ring made. Christmas Eve, asked her to marry me. She said yes. Surprise, surprise. My mom got involved, and next thing you know, she's got a church and a minister, and she's got this whole little miniature wedding set up. After 2 years of being in customer service, I was given the opportunity to move into a purchasing role. Dale came to me and said he had some business he wanted to go look at in Colombia. That's where my wife is from. That's pretty cool. Okay. And he said, and I want you to ask Carolina if she'll come with us to help navigate and translate. I hadn't even been down there yet to meet her family. We handled our business with Dale and everything. And then Dale left, and he let us stay a few extra days so I could see, meet her family. And we got to look at wedding venues down there.
Yeah. November 6th, 2022 was when we decided that we were gonna celebrate the wedding there.
We get there and it's like, just this beautiful green mountain and all these flowers and just these exotic plants and everything. And everything is so lively and green. And it was just like the, perfect
Just
day
having my family there and his mom and Jay. This is my dream. This is what I wanted. This came true. A dream came true.
So here I am, waiting, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm under control. And they started playing the music, and then I saw you get into my view, and I wasn't planning on it, but I lost it. I mean, I remember just seeing you in that white dress, your makeup, your hair, and just thinking how beautiful you were. And
I was like, oh my God, this is real. I'm getting married. I just felt big tears coming.
Yeah.
Breathe. Yeah, that was a powerful moment for us.
This is everything that we wanted. We had, and there was one thing left that we knew we wanted to do, and that was to grow our family. We got pregnant pretty quick, so we went to the doctor. So they said, okay, we're gonna
The ultrasound.
hear the heartbeat through the ultrasound, and for both of us, we don't know what, what to expect, but I just remember that it was quiet.
So we
So
went
then
with the doctor, and the doctor said, we couldn't find a heartbeat, but it might be normal because maybe it's too early. So I want you to come next week.
And we went back, and that was the confirmation. We had a miscarriage.
I was asking God why. I was mad. So mad. Because I wanted a baby so bad.
But it didn't stop us from trying again. Here we are, but this time it was different.
But I was so scared. I had to think that it wasn't real because I didn't want to be again feeling defeated.
Ultrasound comes on, and it's just quiet again, not even breathing, and then I just hear this ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
When I heard that ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom,
my God.
It just felt like
such a weight lifted off your shoulders, and just...
And our baby was gonna be here. That everything was gonna be fine.
Really?
We heard the heartbeat on Friday.
Oh gosh. No.
I was like 3 months pregnant, and by that time, I have felt like a lump on my breast, but I wasn't paying attention. And I mentioned it to the doctor, to my OB, and she said, "Oh, you might have to make an appointment for the breast doctor." 6 days after the biopsy, I remember it was around noon. I was laying down on the couch, and then I look at my phone and I see that I have a new email. And my brain was just saying, okay, find the word that says negative, or that something like everything is okay. And then I see the word malignant. And when I saw that, I was like, this might be a different word, because malignant sounds like in Spanish maligno. So I was like, no, this might be another word. This can be true. And I googled that part, and I just felt the world just crushed me. I was pregnant, and now I have breast cancer.
And I remember the thought that came into my head driving home was, if this is cancer, we're going to have to pick the health of our baby or the health of my wife. She got her port installed like 5 days later. We went right into chemo, and it was just, I was working from infusions. I was working from just all over wherever I was, which specialty was 100% supportive. Everyone there knew what was going on. It was like a whole second family over here supporting us. Then we went to the hospital that morning. So they did the C-section, and I was happy, but at the same time, I knew what was coming. I knew that she still had a surgery to come after this.
I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna have my baby. I won't be able to hold him. I won't be able to breastfeed him. And what is going to happen during the surgery? I just kept praying and praying like every day. And then I hear my baby. And that was it's just the most beautiful sound. He was laying down next to me, crying, and started singing the song that I always sang while I was pregnant. And he comes down. And that was magic.
Immediately.
This is magic.
And during this time, I'm waiting, and the doctor comes in and says, "Do you want to come see Levi? He's over here in transition, but you can see him." This was the first time I think it fully started to hit me that everything that I had been praying for and praying for and praying for, he's here. He's right there in front of me. And I think it was about 3.5 hours, I get the word the surgery went through perfectly. It was the best possible outcome of this surgery that could have happened. And so they wheeled her back. Remember the first thing that she said when she saw me is, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby?"
And
They
then-
wheeled this little crib thing in, and I thought, well, maybe they're just putting it here. And then I could see he was there. And I mean, I just remember going over there, picking him up, looking down at him, looking over at my wife, and just thinking, this is like having everything that I've been praying for. This moment's here. I have them both. We're on the other side of this. No matter what else happens from now on, we can handle because we're together. And I had them both. Getting sober, I thought, if I could just get sober, my problems would be, all of my problems back then were mostly self-induced. And I thought, if I could just get sober, life would be so easy and great. And it was for a while, but I wouldn't want it for anybody else, but I wouldn't change it for us.
And now I can see there is so much. I mean, all this just change my point of view of life. Now I feel like I'm more present. I have to be more focused on important things, and just enjoy every second with Levi and Kevin. It's like I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, so I just need to live it today and live it good.
Every day is new and exciting, and I'm learning from him, he's learning from me.
Yeah, seeing him every day to achieve those milestones. Seeing him every day, how he started to
Sit up and crawl.
sitting up, now he's standing up and walking and eating his first food. So all that just fills my heart with love and happiness.
I mean, it's all these moments that we dreamed of, and that we were in fear of not having.
Mm-hmm.
So all these moments that before we probably would have, taken a little bit, maybe, not as serious or cherished them as much, seeing them play out in front of us. I mean, day in and day out, it's hard not to thank God and just be grateful for each of these little things that we get to have with Him. Yeah, and I mean, it's life today is it's good. I get to come home from work and he's got a big smile on his face when he sees me, and
I mean, seeing Levi so happy, healthy, having that love of my life here every day with me, it's just happiness.
I'm Kevin,
I'm Carolina.
and this is Levi,
This
and
is
this
our
is our story.